We got a mailbag for today's show. I answer the questions you guys asked over on our community tab. So if you want to be on the next Broncos mailbag, super simple stuff, subscribe and ask your questions. And that way, our mailman, Gary or Clifford, we're going to let you guys decide. We've been starting to poll, what should we name our mailman? And these are the two top vote getters, a.k.a. the two names I thought were the funniest. So either Gary or Clifford the Big Red Dog. Let me know what we should call our Broncos mailman that starts off every single mailbag. But let's get into the first question. Matthew Peterson answering Eddie Martinez's question. Out of all the free agents right now, okay, we're going to get a lot of Tim Patrick replacements going here. Which is the best fit for the Broncos to replace Tim Patrick? I like that, Eddie, you're asking, like, when it comes down to it, of all the free agents, who is the best fit? I've got 5 guys I like the most here. I actually swapped out Deshaun Jackson for Antonio Brown just because of it's Antonio Brown, and Deshaun Jackson looks like he's pretty much done. But if I really had to pick one, Cole Beasley. I think Cole Beasley would step in and be the closest to be game ready. Will Fuller had injuries issues last year. He's actually always had injury issues, so it doesn't really seem like you're making a ton of sense to replace one injured player with another often injured player. Same with T.Y. Hilton, the neck injury last year. But Cole Beasley, if I really had to look at all the free agents, I think he would be the best option to just come in, be ready, and step in, and let's see if he's in shape and if he can get going. Now, what's different is that Cole Beasley's not going to replace Tim Patrick for what Tim Patrick did best, which is red zone target over the middle. Well, a little over the middle, but, pick up hard first downs at the sticks, right? You're going to get that from Cole Beasley. You're going to get the first downs. You're going to get over the middle stuff. The red zone contributions, not so much here. But name a receiver you would sign. I would go with Cole Beasley of all the receivers still on the market right now. But let me know what you guys are thinking here. This is the pinned comment, so if YouTube puts an ad break right after this, take advantage of it. Get your predictions and get your picks in down below. Next question coming in from Jacob Youngblood, longtime viewer here at the channel. Should the Broncos trade, sign, or see if one of the other wide receivers on the roster to replace Tim? So you're given 3 options, and that was actually my first video when Tim Patrick got hurt was the Broncos are going to look within, right, their own roster, and then they're going to have to look at signing and maybe trading. Now let's start with looking within here. It's unfortunate that Tim Patrick's injury was followed up with Kendall Hinton hurting his knee, Tyree Cleveland having a throat injury. I mean, that's just awful timing right there. But after looking at this depth chart here, there are still some other names that can definitely make some noise. Brandon Johnson's been a fun UDFA. Caden Davis has been the first one out of practice all the time. Darius Shepard was signed. Montrell Washington has been the star rookie so far. But I think this is probably George Paton's plan. I think what he wants to do is give the current wide receiver room enough time to prove themselves, right? See if anyone within their own ranks can emerge as a clear and obvious or a clear replacement for Tim Patrick of all the best options out there. If there's no one within their own organization, no one on this Broncos roster stepping up and filling those shoes, Payton's going to look to free agency because that's the cheapest option between free agency and trade when it comes to assets, okay? Payton's happy to give away a vet minimum contract to Cole Beasley. No one's going to be breaking the bank in August here. If he doesn't like anyone that's a free agent, then he goes to the trade pool. And I don't think he's going to probably want to do that with a little bit of with little draft assets in 2023. So I think it's going to be look within, not within, free agency. And then if nothing on free agency, maybe a trade. But the thing with making a trade that has a slight hiccup is Payton will probably wait for some of these other receivers to get cut when it comes closer to 53-man roster time, and then he'll make a signing. Next question coming in from Laughing Bat 343, who took complete advantage of the mailbag call, like record amount of questions asked. But one of them was Bradley Chubb, Mike Purcell, Malik Reed for Roquan Smith. Laughing Bat, this isn't Madden. Like, I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but this isn't like fantasy football. You can't throw a bunch of mediocre players one direction thinking it'll balance out and give us a stud player back. The Bears and Roquan have not met on a contract extension, at least as I'm filming this right now. So that does open up Roquan maybe being traded, although I don't think the Bears are going to be interested in trading for, I mean, Chubb's not so-so, but Purcell and Malik Reed are so-so. So it doesn't feel like that's much of a move Chicago would want to make anyway. Next question coming in from Staying a Mile High. Sign Antonio Brown or possibly bring back Megatron. So someone else, Octavia, I think it was Octavia, I'm sorry, also commented about signing Calvin Johnson. What are we smoking here? Calvin Johnson has not played in the NFL in a long time. For whatever reason, it always happens to be Lions players because they retire early just to get out of Detroit. Like Barry Sanders, where you're like, maybe they'll come back because they're not even that old. But Megatron, we're going to rule out. That's not going to happen. But Antonio Brown's at least much more realistic. Now, we all know how things went for him last year in Tampa Bay. He was a head case that stormed off the field in the East Meadowlands. And I don't even really know how else to best describe what he did at this point here, other than he's got a screw loose, and he's really good at football when he's playing lately. I mean, he was awesome in their Super Bowl run, but the last 3 years, he has not consistently stayed on the field. If I'm George Paton, it's not even like Antonio Brown is serviceable. It's not even like he's healthy. It doesn't make a ton of sense, as fun as it might be to live back in the 2018 days. 2022, it ain't the same AB. It worked for the Bucs for a short stint with Tom Brady. Brady loved Antonio Brown. I don't know if Russell Wilson's going to be all that interested. But would you guys sign Antonio Brown? There were some people asking about Josh Gordon, too. He's on the Chiefs. Doesn't really work out that easily. But what about AB? Drop a simple Y for yes or N for no. And while you're down there, that's what she said, make sure you check us out and subscribe to us on the channel by clicking that sub button down below. Or if you already have, you could share this video with another member of Broncos Country. We're trying to get to 9,000, 10,000 subscribers, so join our growing Broncos YouTube community by subscribing today and getting on future mailbags. Eric Football Tech Gaming 0414, next question up. Imagine if Tyler Lockett came to the Broncos to reunite with Wilson. That would be awesome, but we are just imagining. Again, I hate to be the party pooper. It's not in the cards for two big reasons. One, Tyler Lockett's contract isn't the friendliest to trade. He just signed an extension with the Seahawks. For Seattle, it'd be one thing if they traded Lockett, got some draft pick compensation back, because they're definitely tanking right now, or they're somewhat trying to tank, and they save some money. No, it actually costs them a lot of money, right? They only get cap savings of $6.2 million. Nearly a dead cap hit of $15 million. So they're going to pay Tyler Lockett, a guy they like a lot of money, not to be on their team and to play against them week 1. The other issue I have is when it comes to draft capital. What do the Broncos have to offer for someone like Tyler Lockett? Seattle's not going to get a first for Lockett. Second, probably not. A third, yeah. Broncos want to part ways with one of their 2 third-round picks? I don't think so. That wouldn't make a ton of sense to me. It'd be fun for sure to have Lockett come over and reunite with Russ. I'm not denying that. Let's see what KJ Hamler can do before we start trading away more assets for players. Tyrone L with the next question on the show. The Broncos will have a top 5 defense. Mark my words. You know, Tyrone, so far at training camp, and I don't want to get too drunk on training camp takeaways because it happens to me every single year, and I always just wash, rinse, repeat. But defense has come to play. Like, Simmons and Surtain have looked great. Chubb has been making plays. Baron Browning off the edge has been making plays here. I don't know if I'll go top 5. It seems a little premature, but I think they could be a sneaky defense. I think they could be a defense that if you're in a 12-man fantasy football league and you're the last one to pick a defense, maybe go with the Broncos. Could be some fun, right? Could be some playmakers right there. So what do you guys think here? The Broncos defense is top blank in the NFL. Fill in the Mad Lib. I would say they are top. I got to look at a list. I think they're like top 15. I think they're in the 10 to 15 range right now. I don't think they're top 10 because definitely helped with Fangio last year. Without him, it's definitely going to be interesting to see how this defense adapts when inevitably some injuries occur. Right now, the starting 11 are awesome, but what happens when we start getting a little further down the depth chart mid-season? That's where things might get interesting here. Hopefully that doesn't happen. Question coming in from someone who has not been in the comment section for quite some time, but happy to have you back, Brock. Dollar Shill. Who do you predict will lead the team in receiving yards this upcoming season? It's a two-man race. Courtland Sutton and Jerry Jeudy. Now, so far, Sutton has been Russell Wilson's go-to guy in training camp. He has been getting majority of the targets. So I'm inclined to lean towards Courtland Sutton. Asked me this a couple weeks ago, I thought Jerry Jeudy. I thought Jeudy for sure would really come on with Russell Wilson. Not saying he won't, but let's not overlook Courtland Sutton, who was awesome for the Broncos back in 2019. So I'm going to go with Sutton. Another question coming in from Tyrone L. And I think this is our last question, right? Yeah. Last question of the show here. Who is this year's fantasy football top performer on the Broncos, other than Russell Wilson? Good question, and we can kind of spin this a little bit, not only just fantasy football related here, but some actual news and rumors, because you would be inclined to think after quarterback, running back, Javonte Williams. And I want to believe that, but Melvin Gordon's going to be a bit of a vulture. He's going to steal more than just 30% of the carries, I think. The splits aren't 70-30 right now, according to reports coming out of camp. It's closer to like 60-40 than 70-30. So I'm pumping the brakes, at least for now, on going too early on Williams. Now, as for who's going to be the overall top scorer, Courtland Sutton. The issue is he's also going to have targets stolen away from him from Jerry Jeudy. So maybe at the end of the day, I do go in a full circle and I still land on Williams. But I'm not the most confident. Albert Okuebenam, producer Jeremy in my ear right now. No, not in his first year as a real tight end one. I'm going to take Williams because even if Melvin Gordon is getting a lot of carries early in the year, as the season progresses, Williams is the clear-cut RB1. That's not a debate. Maybe then it transitions a little bit more towards a Williams workload. But don't panic if after the first week of the season it's like, Gordon got 13 carries or 15 carries, and he stole 7 from Williams. That could have been 45 yards or whatever. All right, that is going to do it for us on today's Mailbag Show. If you got any questions, we couldn't get to yours, just DM me at Matthew Petey on Twitter. Happy to talk shop with all of you guys watching. I really appreciate everyone that made us a part of your day. Enjoy your weekend, and we'll see you guys later. Most importantly, Broncos Country, let's ride.